What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to give you the exact template that you can use for the copy and the creative of your Facebook advertising to attract more marketing clients on demand. We have spent more than $250,000 over the past few years on Facebook ads, and our company has generated more than $6.5 million in revenue. So we've been doing this for a while. I've got a particular insight into what works. And sure, some people out there spend a lot more money, but to some of you, just to kind of give context, like $250,000 is probably a lot of money to spend on Facebook ads. So we picked up a lot of lessons along the way. We've been through a lot of advertising agencies that didn't necessarily go well. And real talk, like we had to bring this in-house, look at what we're doing and fix that before we could really make it work, and then hire a media buying company to help us run the ads off of a funnel and model that we had to own and design. So I'm hopeful that in this video, I'll be able to give you some of those insights so that you can get some similar results and not have to go through as many of the learning curves. Cool. So in this video, what are we going to cover? First, I want to make sure we talk about the expectations around budget and results. This is going to be obviously like the biggest question, like how much do I actually need to spend on Facebook ads to get those clients? I'm going to break down all the numbers for you. I'm going to show you the secret sauce on how to consistently get results on Facebook so your ads do not fatigue and over time start to get worse and worse results. I'm going to literally give you templates that you can copy and paste, swipe, steal, whatever you want to call for your business. Just plug in your own niche, your offer, etc. I'm going to give you those here in this video. I'm not going to hide anything. What we're not going to do in this video, though, is we're not going to really talk about kind of like the targeting and the nitty gritty of actually running the ads. There's plenty of videos like that out there. I want to talk about the nuance of how you communicate what you do in a way that's going to attract your ideal clients. All right, so first and foremost, why Facebook ads? Why even, is this valuable? Why shouldn't you just do cold email or go networking? Like all those things work. But what we have seen consistently in working with over 1,000 marketing agencies in our mentorship program is Facebook ads are still the most scalable way to get more marketing clients. So this could be, versus doing things like outbound or affiliates, referral partners, or just normal traditional referrals and word of mouth. Again, I have nothing against all of those things, and they all have their time and place. But this is the way where once you have the budget, it is the most consistent way to pick up clients. So this is going to be really powerful for you if you've been trying to kind of figure it out and haven't cracked the code. I'm going to give you some of the secret sauce here. Because people, when they opt into your Facebook ads, they're coming to you with their metaphoric hand raised, right? Like they are coming to you because they are seeking out a solution. So it makes it a lot easier than when you're doing outbound, trying to find that needle in a haystack of the person who's in your niche, who's in the right place, in the right time, in the right state of mind to buy your offer, versus just talking with people who are actively searching a solution that you sell. And when you're doing outbound dials to set appointments, guess what? Your prospects are going to be way more receptive to that conversation, especially if you adopt some of the things I've talked about in my other videos on this idea of speed to lead. It's cliche for sure, but when you can call prospects who are opting into your ads or frankly, replying positively to outbound messages or anytime that they take a step forward, you don't just wait for them to take the next step. You take a step towards them, pick up the phone and call them. And again, when you're running paid ads, those people are going to be a lot more receptive because they're going to go, oh yeah, I did opt into that. Some people might not remember, but that's okay. They still did it. And it's going to give you an easier foot in the door and permission to call them. Also, very often when you do this the right way, people are going to give you their cell phone numbers. And if you're in an industry where you deal with a lot of gatekeepers and you have to like call someone, but you got to get through the front desk to get to the manager or the owner, this will allow you to pick up cell phone numbers and call your prospects and the decision makers directly, and much more importantly than just kind of, working through gatekeepers. All right, expectations. This is really around the numbers. And before I talk about some of the KPIs that you should be expecting, what I want you to do is sell high ticket. There's a couple of videos, again, I put out on like how you should structure your agency to grow quickly and get consistent $10,000 months and beyond. Selling high ticket is one of the easiest ways to do that because the economics of paid advertising, when you have a offer that is $500 a month, $300 a month, and there's not only an acquisition cost associated with getting that client, but there's also the cost to fulfill, paying yourself, paying taxes, the economics start to not work so well unless you can really crack the code of selling one to many. And again, that is a complexity that if you're under 20K, even 50K a month right now, it's not necessarily worth doing. It's not that you can't sell one to many. I'm still going to recommend going to events, sponsoring things, speaking on stage. If you got an audience, running trainings, then bringing them to you. But once you learn and master how to sell your product one-to-one is when you can much more effectively graduate and start to sell one to many. But again, that's not what this video is about. This is about leveraging ads. And one of the best ways you can do that is have a high ticket offer, ideally in the ballpark of $2,000 to $3,000 a month minimum. And I'll make an entire another video on how to command these premium prices, but it all comes down to the value your client receives for that. So if you're focusing on industries that have high customer lifetime value, you only have to get them a couple clients to ROI on the investment with you. Makes your life a lot easier. So sell high ticket, it's going to make this all work a lot better. Now, in terms of KPIs that you need to be considerate of, a really solid funnel will be generating leads from anywhere between $10 to $20 and cost per booked call around $150 to $300. Now, this is with no appointment setting intervention. This would just be purely people who see the ad, opt in, and book a call. And then you are looking at a cost per acquisition in the ballpark of $400 or $500, all the way up to like $1,500. But $400 to $1,200 is usually a safe bet. But at the end of the day, your cost per lead and cost per call are just measuring sticks of the success of the campaign. They're not the most important factor. Your cost per acquisition is the most important factor because the only thing that really matters is that you have a cost per acquisition that is less than 20% of the lifetime value of your customer. So to make the math really easy, if the average client pays you $2,500 per month, and on average you keep clients 4 months, that means you have a lifetime value of $10,000. So 20% of $10,000 is $2,000, which means if you have that 10K LTV, you should be comfortable to have a cost per acquisition of up to $2,000 to acquire that customer. So it really isn't a matter of like, well, what does my budget need to be, right? Your budget is going to be whatever your growth goals are, along with the math of, okay, if you're at 10K and you want to go to 20K and you sell a $2,500 a month product, you need 4 more clients. In order to get 4 more clients, you're going to need to probably spend in the ballpark of, to overestimate $1,000 per client without a setting team or anything like that. So now you're looking at a $4,000 budget to do that. This is once the ads are dialed in. This is not going to happen always out of the gate, which is why I have this recommendation that you typically budget anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 on just the initial investment to get the data back from Facebook, because action creates data, data creates optimization, and optimization creates action. So there's this nice flywheel that you need to enter into, and do not assume right out of the gate that it's going to work immediately. And what I've seen Facebook do, unfortunately, is they tend to give you a little bit of false hope at the beginning. When you have a newer account, they'll usually pump your ads more and give you like this immediate like dopamine, oh wow, it's starting to work. And then they taper out pretty quickly. You actually have to do the things correctly to get the consistent results. So that's what this video is all about. I just wanted you to have an expectation of like the measuring stick by which you can use to measure, hey, is this working or not? But then at the end of the day, like if you've got a $100,000 offer, okay, you can spend up to 20K on ads to acquire that customer, assuming all the other numbers in your business make sense. So this is just a healthy dose of expectation and reality, and kind of some expectations for you. All right. Let's keep rocking. We're going to get to the good stuff here in a minute. I'm going to give you the templates in just a moment. But in terms of like the nuance of how to build and set up your funnel, right? This is where a lot of people kind of get tripped up. They do things that are overly complex. It's actually just a matter of having a really good offer and some very simple copy that communicates that offer, pushing people to a calendar booking page and not making them go through some long, elaborate funnel. The more complex it is, the more moving parts and the more variables there are to look at and measure. When we simplify and condense the funnel into, good offer on an ad, send them to a landing page where they opt in, and send them to a booking page, it makes the process a lot easier. And then you can call anyone who does not self-book. So we'll talk about more about that in just here in a minute. But ad sent is one of the first things here. And this is a little bit of a silly phrase, but what it basically means is your copy, your creative, your headline, your ads, and your landing page, your thank you page, your booking page, your email, they all need to look and smell the same. Meaning, if you are on this trail, you have this ad sent, you're following this, this smell of cookies, like, oh, this looks amazing. I'm going to go follow. And then it starts to change, like, oh, this starts to smell a little weird now. That's not what I initially smelled. Again, weird metaphor, but then you leave, you bounce, right? In the same way, your hooks, your copy, your branding, how you communicate what you do needs to carry all the way from the front end of your funnel to the back end. Because if you're changing up the promises, the pain solved, who it's for, how you communicate that, even in the slightest way, it makes people doubt the efficacy of what you do, and they usually bound to get a lower conversion rate. So, again, your headlines, your copy, your hooks on the headline of your landing page, all of these things need to be consistent, communicating the same message, maybe using slightly different words. But if you change those up too much and they're not in alignment, people are going to bounce, right? So if you have a really well written ad, you're talking about all these pain points, but then you send them to just a random, like your random website, like the homepage, and it talks about like some other stuff, you're going to miss the mark. So you got to have ad sent in that through line throughout the entire funnel. This is really important too, and where a lot of people fail. You got to be niche specific, right? Like I did another video on like short term and midterm and long term, how to eventually niche down, because the reality is you can do any of them, but you can't do all of them, especially through paid advertising. Paid advertising is going to go to the winners are always going to be the people who can explain pain away better. I'll talk about that again here in just a moment. But you can attract some really bad leads if you are not specific to who you are solving the pain for, because you're going to get a lot of people who aren't specific either, who don't know what they're doing, who run startups, who run businesses where they're not really clear on what they're doing, and they're not even really solution aware. They're problem aware, but you want to have people coming into your pipeline who are looking actively for a solution, because you sell an outcome that their industry or niche wants, not just the fact you sell some features or you have some product like everyone else. You will attract bad leads if you are not hyper niche specific to who you serve. And if you're trying to do like lawyers or home services or medical, go a layer deeper. What type of home services, what type of attorneys, what type of medical? You are going to win a lot more the more specific you are. The wider you go, the more noise and competitor, more commoditized you are, the more you have to win on brand. When you don't have brand, you don't have a huge volume of people who look to you and who would buy from you, then you need to be more specific. And the more specific you can be, the easier and faster you can win. One of the hard lessons that we had to learn with our advertising, and again, why so many ad agencies could not work for us, is they were running the paid ads, but they weren't necessarily leading how the funnel was structured. And being a mentorship program, we can help people in a lot of different ways. And we were trying to sell the farm, meaning like, hey, we can do this and this and this and all these things, versus this idea of having a tip of the spear. So what is the one thing you can solve for them first and open a loop up so that they want you to help solve other things in their business? Which if you try and sell the whole farm and sell everything to everyone, you end up attracting nobody or the wrong people. So this is a big lesson we had to learn. What is the one biggest key thing your customers want that your product solves, your service solves? Focus on selling that thing. And then once you've got them in, you can sell the buffet. It's a little bit like, the Costco samples, right? They just want you to try a little bit. Just do this one thing and you like it. Cool. Now you can go buy the rest or buy different versions of it, etc. All right. This is a big one. That's why it's in bold here. For the love of marketing, please do not do lead magnets. Lead magnets are great, but if you're doing things that are like lead magnets or VSLs or webinars, you are very likely going to attract people who are more pain and problem aware, not solution aware, right? People who are looking for freebies and how to educate themselves, they know that they're maybe in some pain, they know that they have some problems, but they're not really like actively searching for a solution. They're just looking for affirming evidence on, hey, this is a problem, and maybe I can start to think about now, how do I fix it? Anything fancy or overly complicated, again, too many moving parts, too many variables, I'm going to highly recommend you only do direct response, which is basically just a fancy way of saying you make a good direct offer about what you do, and you have that in your headline of the landing page and the ads and the main hook. And then you have a booking page where they can put in their name, email, phone number to learn a little bit more. Don't have, when I say a booking page, I mean an opt in page. I apologize. You can do Facebook lead forms as well if you'd like. I don't really care one way or the other. You just want to get name, email, phone number. And then on the next page is where they can book. You can choose to have a demo video there if you'd like. But what happens here is only like 5 to 10% of people, maybe 15% on the high end, will self book from your paid ads. And in order to pick up some additional prospects, set another 10, 20% even, you want to have name, email, phone numbers of the people who did not self-book. So your setting team or yourself at this point can pick up the phone and call those prospects. All right. Again, tip of the spear versus selling the farm, kind of similar here, but you just got to stop selling features. No one cares like what your white labeled high level SaaS does. No one cares if you sell ads or SEO. They don't care if you got, a circus full of monkeys that'll spin signs on the corner of their business downtown. Like they want an outcome. When you sell features, you commoditize yourself because there's always someone willing to do that service cheaper. So instead, focus on value you can provide to someone, the financial outcomes that creates for them. That'll allow you to price anchor against those things, not be a commodity, not sell features, right? And so instead, Brian, if I'm not selling features, like what do I sell? Cool. You educate and you sell away pain. I'm going to give you these frameworks here in just a moment, but whoever can describe pain the best wins. And here's a hard lesson that I had to learn. People in the same niche, even if they have the same pain points, it does not equal the same way in which they communicate it. Because when you use copy and phrases like, hey, are you struggling to get more leads? This will bury you because guess what? You're going to attract struggling business owners in your niche. So instead, and I'm going to just, paraphrase here off the top of my head, but if you were to work in the medical space, want to work with doctors, right? Instead of saying, hey, are you struggling to attract patients for your dental implant office versus like, hey, do you want to fill up all your locations, make sure your doctors are busy and do more than 100 implants per year? Hey, now I'm talking to the people with multiple doctors underneath them, dentists, multiple offices who are already doing a volume of implants. They just want to do more. Or again, in the home services space, instead of, hey, are you struggling through like Angie's List to get leads, that you're going to get the people who are most budget conscious and going to the cheapest places, and then they're going to try and switch over to you, but they're looking for the cheapest answer, versus, hey, do you want to make sure you keep your guys employed and your trucks on the road so it's not costing you money while they sit idle? Hey, now I'm talking to, even though this home service business wants more clients, just like the beginners do, it's communicated in a way that speaks to where they are. Meet them where they are and sell away the pain. I'm going to give you some ideas if you don't feel like you're strong on copywriting, how you can sell away pain in just a minute, but let's keep rocking. All right, here is a couple of screenshots. I'm going to actually play one of our ads for you here before we wrap this up. But when I say creative suggestions, this is the creative of the Facebook ads, right? So you can either do video ads or static image ads. I'm going to just lean really strongly in saying, get comfortable on camera. Like just, you have to. And the reason why is they perform so much better than static ads because a person can now associate an individual, a face, someone that they can now trust more than just a static image ad. Do static image ads work? 100%. Will you get better results with video ads? Yes, 100%. So I'm going to strongly encourage you to do this. You can just use your phone. You don't have to complicate it, right? Get on your iPhone, do like cinematic mode, just do a selfie video, and you can just literally put it in front of your face and record the video. Doesn't have to be overdone. Actually, the things that don't feel as much like an ad, like they're not overly done, like perfect lighting and perfect studio and perfect audio and perfect video, those things feel more like an ad and tend to actually scare people away versus the more casual, hey, like we're just having a person-to-person conversation. And what this will do is alienate people who don't like you, which is a good thing, and it will attract people who are like you. So it really helps in a lot of ways, but without overdoing the explanation, just do video ads. All right, let me give you a couple of pattern interrupts. Pattern interrupt, for those of you maybe haven't heard this phrase before, is just something you do in your copy and or your creative to catch someone's attention, to stop to stop the scroll, right? They're scrolling Facebook mindlessly or Instagram, and you want to do something that gets them to stop and look at your video. Four of the things that we found work incredibly well are movement, so moving around, walking and talking, where there's like things happening and movement in the background. Unique locations, so get out from behind your desk, go outside, go to like a place where your clients work. Maybe if you work with dentists, you can go film in one of your clients' dental offices, or a gym if you have gym clients. Like, be in a location that resonates with and connects with your target audience, but also cool and unique locations work. Like you can see here, Alex is in his office in this one, not moving around, but it's a nice location because he's got a cool background. This was in a conference room of a mastermind we just did. This was in Alex's backyard, walking around. Alex is my business partner, by the way. This is wondering who this strange man is. But yeah, I'll talk about these in just a moment. Props is a third one. So using funny, over the top, oversized, quirky, like comedy style props. Again, great pattern interrupt. And the fourth, which I'm not really a fan of and we don't do, and I probably would not recommend for you, we like music and dancing, right? There's a reason why YouTube shorts and Instagram reels and TikTok videos like have so many people that have music and dancing, because it works. It's a great pattern interrupt. People stop and they watch that. So these are the three ones, and probably if I had to focus in on only two, these two are ones you can leverage. Props is, again, leaning more into comedy, and I'm not opposed to that, but these are going to be the two big ones you can leverage and absolutely should be doing in your video creative. All right, so once you find a good angle, a good hook, and I'm going to show you one that works incredibly well for us. You can steal it for your agency. Again, I wouldn't recommend jumping ahead too far and watch the rest of this because this nuance matters. But you can see here, these are three different screenshots from three different videos. And again, we're holding up the three because I just wanted to make the point. It's actually the same exact script in every single video. We are just doing different movement, different locations. We haven't really done many props yet. I have some funny things planned in the future, but the idea is like you're going to need to iterate 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times on one hook that kind of works. And that way you can, once you find the one that does work, just keep doing the same thing over and over, just in different locations, different movement, and it'll actually work really well. All right, last little comment on the creative side. There's this app called, I believe it's called Captcha. Let me just triple check this. Captions, I apologize, Captions. And this is a really simple app. It's like $10 a month, but it will allow you to edit your videos in a way where you can denoise any awkward background noise. You can throw in some subtitles, make it a 4:5 size so it fits really well in the news feed. I highly recommend it. It just makes it easy to just like literally in 5-10 minutes, edit the video, get it done, and don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. The less it looks and talks and walks like an ad, typically the better that it performs. Cool, let's keep going. In terms of copy suggestions, not going to do a lot here because copywriting is its own massive can of worms, but I'm going to give you some insight here. If you aren't hyper clear on the pain points your customers have just yet, or really the outcomes they want, if you're still kind of soul searching for that, here's a couple of really good places you can find that. So first place would be to start to research some 5-star and 1-star reviews of companies similar to yours, other agencies, software companies who have reviews from clients. Might be hard to find the 1-star reviews because people may be hiding those, but also of books, right? So if you're serving dental offices, I'm going to keep just going back to that example here in this video, go onto Amazon and look up some books on dental practice growth. I'm assuming those exist, and go look at the reviews. You can borrow the words of the prospects of the things that they have pain points around, their desires, the outcomes they wanted from the book, the things they loved and got from the book. And you can use their words in your copy because they're going to communicate it better than you ever could. And another version of this would be like just getting customer feedback, right? So leveraging any onboarding or offboarding forms that you have, what people say of why they joined you, why they're leaving, what they liked, what they didn't like, call recordings you've done with clients or sales calls, where you can literally take the words they used and use that in your copy, because the way in which they describe it is always going to be more powerful than any chat GPT or anything you could come up with on your own. Leverage these things, they matter. One of the other things I'm going to recommend you do is call out who you serve in the first 5 seconds of the video, and potentially even in that first line of your copy. The copy is important for sure in terms of calling someone out. It doesn't always have to be in the first line, but it definitely has to be above the fold. So above the fold basically means on Facebook that'll show like 2 or 3 lines of text before that has a little, hey, see more button. You want to make sure your hook and the promise and the niche call out are above the fold so people don't have to click on see more to expand the whole thing. They can just, in essence, get it really quickly and then go to the video to get the meat of that. And your headline, in the way that Facebook flows, because you get your copy, creative, and then headline is at the bottom with the learn more button. This is really, again, your last chance to get them to convert. So this needs to be benefit driven, focused on the outcome, and again, have that ad sent where the through line of your copy, your video match up with the headline. And then when they click on it, matches up with the headline landing page, thank you page, etc. So this is just some quick copy suggestions. But now, if you're ready to do a little bit of a drum roll, please, let's get into the framework and the templates that you can just take and run with. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can hopefully see all of this on one screen. It looks like I am going to have to scroll a little bit, no worries. But the headline looks like it's down there, so let's unblock this. Okay, it is going to fit all on this one page. So you can pause this, obviously, take a screenshot, adjust it for yourself, but this is a really helpful framework that you can take for your agency that not only we use for our own business and our own agency, but a lot of our clients use the structure as well. So I'm not going to read this word for word. I'll just talk about the high level thoughts around it. And the idea is you're selling away pain through education. So you want to educate them on why most people in their industry are stuck. And this is where you are speaking to the pain points, using their words against them in a positive way. So when they read it, they're like, yeah, like Brian really gets it, man. I have people jump on sales calls with me all the time and literally say, dude, that ad spoke to my soul because I'm in that pile of shit right now and I need help. I need someone to teach me how to solve this. So this is a really helpful way of like calling out the audience. And then also just like, hey, like this is what most people do and why they get it wrong. Here is, and again, some social proof, a little bit of a flex of any credibility that you have. Giving your offer a unique name and opportunity, also super helpful. What that's not going to be what this video is about. I'll talk more about that in another one. Real quick, like now, hey, what you do in terms of the outcomes it provides, not necessarily the feature you deliver. And then just a couple of extras of like, hey, who the ideal client would be for this to disqualify people who aren't a good fit and qualify ones who are. And I always like to add, an extra kind of bonus or freebie just for checking it out and incentivize them to give us their cell phone number so they get texted that. We don't email them the bonus, we text it to them, again, because I don't want people to give me fake phone numbers. I want the real. And so this is a helpful way to do that. You can see here on the headline as well, because again, it would go copy, creative headline, just doing something like this that again is speaking to the pain that they're in and enlightening them to the better way, the new opportunity that you have. And again, to kind of not backtrack too much, but this is the benefit of having a unique name for what your system is, because now it's positioned as a new opportunity. Like if they've tried Facebook ads or SEO or any of these other things before, you got to give that system a unique name so it's intellectual property that lets you sell against and differentiate against everyone else just selling the basic services. All right, let's rock to the last piece of this, and I'm going to actually let you watch the video. And before I do, I'm going to let you watch one of the videos. I'm going to mute myself real quick, and I'll let you see that. Marketing agencies, here are 3 reasons why you're not getting more clients. Number 1 is you are choosing strategies that simply just take too long. Doing cold outbound or posting to social media every day or trying to build some big list or following is great, but you want to get paid now and later. Number 2 is choosing strategies that are too complicated. Trying to run like a webinar funnel or a challenge funnel or do podcasting. It's great, but there's too many variables. It's too complex. Number 3, and worst of all, you're just trying to grow off of word of mouth and referrals, which is making you act out of scarcity, taking bad deals, and frankly, signing up clients that you shouldn't be working with. Now, if you want to change all that, follow me over to the other side of the video. Me and my business partner put together a super short video on our prospecting in a box system that we've helped install into hundreds of agencies you can start to use to pick up 5 to 10 qualified sales appointments that actually show up every single week as just a starting point. That way you can enroll at least one high value client every week into your business and start to grow the type of marketing agency you know that you deserve. I'll see you on the other side. All right, so as you can see, we followed the structure here almost to a T, but I wanted to put this in a framework that you could potentially use for your business and plug it in. So take this, run with it. Hope you guys like this video. If you did, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below. Let me know if you enjoyed it. I'm going to be putting out more content like this very, very soon, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.